This is the Voice of Land on the Big Play Network with your hosts, Kevin Arnold and Jay Banky. We are proud to partner with the Cleveland Crunch, who are in their second season since returning to Major Arena Soccer last season. They won the MASL2 championship, giving them 4 league championships in program history. Of course, they played from 1989 to 2002 with guys like Hector Marinero and Otto Orff. Now you get guys like Mikey Derizic, Admir Suljevic, Mario Musa, Sammy Mutemwa, Dave Jordan, the captain. I could go down the list of the entire roster. I am proud to be given the opportunity to be the voice of the Crunch, a team that I grew up watching, a team that I grew up going to their soccer camps. That was the sports that I was the most involved with, was soccer through the Cleveland Crunch. We could afford the camps. We could afford going to those games down at the old Convocation Center on Cleveland State's campus. And it drew me into sports, and it drew me into soccer in particular. So to have that kind of come full circle into my journey towards becoming a member of the sports media, sports broadcasting industry is just, it means a lot to me. And I can't thank Eric Davis and Luciano Rashido and the entire Crunch organization enough. And we are proud to be the sponsor, official sponsor of the Crunch post-game shows. And we will have kind of interviews coming up with them on this show, but also we're going to have the man of the match every single night coming up to our platform above the field to join us and talk about the game after as well. So interviews coming soon to our broadcast. That is done by Peter Tellep and his LPV Productions crew, and putting on a great professional broadcast. And I think that's the best compliment we get about this show and anything that we do for high school sports with CBC and Cleveland Crunch is it's professional. That's probably, Peter, I don't know if you feel the same way, but that's like the best compliment you can get.
It's a great compliment. You know, it's funny because every time we do something or add something to one of the shows or productions, I always want to do more. So I'm always trying to strive to add more things. We're looking at doing a couple more things with the Crunch because we have the next game coming up this Saturday. So we might try and get a replay in there. Hopefully we'll get the clock working. That was a little issue with the internet at the venue. But I talked to the guys there and we got that, I think, straightened out. And we may try to sneak a small camera in the corner of the near goal. So we might be able to try and get some goal, a goal camera going on. So we'll see if we can get that going. So like I said, every time we do it, we try to add more, try to make things more dynamic. We did that with football for the CVC last year, added replay, and a couple extra things. So should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. We've got a busy couple of weeks ahead of us.
Busy couple of weeks for sure. So we got high school basketball restarting with the CVC. So stay tuned for all that. Make sure that you are following or subscribing to not only our YouTube channel, Voice of Land Podcast, but Cleveland Crunch YouTube channel as well, because that's where the games will live stream. And our very own Always Positive Jay is going to get his first soccer experience next week. As we said, he's going to kind of come out, watch the game, may come up to the, where we're broadcasting the game, check out things from behind the scenes and start to learn the game of soccer and start with the indoor game before I kind of teach him the outdoor game. Jay, I gotta know. Yeah, I was going to say, what are your questions?
What are the,
here's the time.
The obvious being indoor and outdoor. What are the huge differences between the games?
Between indoor and outdoor?
Yeah.
Well, so of course, field size is going to be one. The main difference that you're going to see next week is, when you watch an outdoor game, you got the 4 lines. In the indoor game, it's kind of more shaped like an oval field with walls, and the walls are in play. If it hits any sort of netting above the walls, just like in hockey,
I was gonna say like hockey arena then.
Correct. Yeah. So the walls are in play, and you can use those to your advantage, or maybe it happens to your disadvantage if you can't defend along the boards as much.
So if I'm running down the field and there's a guy in front of me, I could kick it off the wall, run around him the other way, and that's pretty cool, actually.
That's the indoor game that I grew up playing. So like if you were a soccer player, I tried to play as many different sports as I could, and our coaches did a great job. And I've kind of taken that into my coaching stuff as well to promote playing different sports and having different conditioning, getting involved in different things just to whether test them out or just be more well-rounded. But, if there was time, I would also play indoor to kind of keep chemistry with my high school teammates and everything. And even when I was playing, all of these facilities had the walls. When I went to Lost Nation, there's one out here in Lake County in Mentor at the Heisley Racket Club. There's an indoor soccer facility in the back over there that a lot of kids go to. They still have the boards actually over there. But most places like Force or Lost Nation or a lot of these other places you'll see, they've gone to that outdoor field turf you see in high school stadiums. It's cut a little bit shorter, but there's basically just nets that kind of divide the field. And it's just a smaller version of the outdoor game, but you're playing the outdoor game. You're still throwing in, you still, it's all of those kind of elements. Cleveland Crunch and indoor arena soccer is what it should be. Yes, the walls are dangerous when you get, kind of pushed into them and things like that, but there's dangers in all sports with injuries. It is so fun to like what you just said, Jay, to kick the ball around a player, kind of run the other way. Even like when you get down close to the goal, you can use the back walls and try to pass it off. So it kind of gives a different angle and a different pace on the pass to someone running towards the goal. And you get a lot more power
I'm doing all
behind
these
it.
plays I used to do in my head in the game Rocket League, where I'd shoot it off the wall to make it bounce back at me so I could kick it again really hard, or shoot it with my car actually. But in soccer, I'm really looking forward to going to watch this, because there's a lot more scoring in indoor than there is outdoor too, isn't there?
Yeah. I mean, just looking at the game last night, we'll do a little review of the game last night. The Crunch go to 2-0 on the season. Home opener last night, a beautiful ceremony to one last time celebrating the championship. And then as Coach Louis Kostelic said last night, they're on to this year. That was the last time they're going to talk about last year. They're on to this year, taking a game at a time. Their aspirations aren't putting that fifth star above the crest. And the crest is basically just the team symbol on the jersey or on other paraphernalia for the team. And then when you have your stars above the crest, that means how many championships you've won as a club or as a nation. Like the U.S. women's national team, over their crest for USA, it looks the same as the men's, but they have 4 stars over the top. They've won 4 World Cups. Men haven't come anywhere close. That's because the women get developed a lot better than the men. Conversation for another day. But the Crunch win last night against Muskegon Risers from the state up north, 10-5. It was a rematch from the week before when they won 8-5 on the road. Mikey Derzic made his debut. The Crunch were up 4-0 before like people really knew what was going on. Actually 3-0 in the first 2 minutes. And it just hit so quick, one after the other. Mikey had 3 of the 4, and I think it was Rylan Weichel who had the 4th. And then they're up 7-1 at the end of half. Second half got a little chippy per se. Guys were getting sent over to the bench, sent into the penalty box. There's really no penalty box for it, but guys do have to sit out for blue cards and yellow cards, and they can't come back into play. There are man advantages, so there's power plays, there's penalty kills, just like in hockey, the way to describe that. And it was just a great atmosphere last night at the Sportsplex in North Olmsted where the Crunch play. If you guys want to get tickets, make sure you guys head over to the Crunch, clevelandcrunch.com. You can get the tickets there. If you can't, subscribe to the Cleveland Crunch YouTube channel, and that's where you're going to catch the live streams of all of 6 of their home games. But Jay, I mean, it was just, Peter can even speak to it too. Like it was just up and down, up and down.
Just said, because I was going to bring it up, like, there's so much more scoring. For me, when I watch like European soccer, I get kind of like bored because it can go 1-0 and you feel like you watch something for 2 hours, like it was just back and forth. Where if you want to bring kids to a game, indoors where you want to go, because there's just like, it just seems like so much more action, more scoring. It would get
very
keep their attention. Yeah. It'd keep their attention better than if you were to take them to like a regular soccer game, I think.
Yeah, it's fast paced, high scoring. If you want to come see the Crunch, buy tickets, get there early so you can get a seat, because last night it was packed.
It was standing room only.
Yeah, it was standing room only. It was crazy. But yeah, it's definitely like a high intensity game. It's a lot of fun to watch. And yeah, I would say, Kevin's analogies to hockey. It's a lot like hockey. Not as many checks into the walls as hockey, and it looked like there's a little bit of flopping by that team up north in some plays there, but it's not nearly as bad as what you see on some of the outdoor soccer highlights of the guys brushes past him and he falls over and grabs his head like he just got hit with a bat. So it's a lot of fun.
Way to show that Homer broadcast mentality there with the flops by the other team. I mean, if I'm going to look at it objectively, which I don't have to because I'm the home team's broadcast. I'm the Cleveland Crunch play-by-play man. So I don't have to, but if I'm going to, because that's what we promote on this show for some odd reason. I don't know who started that, but some guy. But there was back and forth, and it slowed down a little bit once, kind of the officiating and players kind of got into a little bit. There was back and forth. A lot of teams have played 2 times in a row. So, there was a lot of built up frustration. Risers just weren't able to do much with it. But I mean, the Crunch, they hit you quick. And that defense is stellar with Dave Jordan, the captain, Bobby Chanchar in the back to start things out. And then you're rotating in Chris Zevko and, all these different guys that are rotating back there. Kevin Blackwood will play back there. But what's brilliant about it is, it's such a small field and so few guys out there. It's 6v6 that you have to know every position for the most part when you're out there. Just like coaches teach in 11 on 11 in outdoor soccer, you really got to know every position because it's so interchangeable and everybody's involved in every single kind of play. So Crunch are just building on the momentum from last year and building on that chemistry. And Jay, get ready because it's going to be a fun time. And if you got any questions during the week, you know where to reach out to.
Now, are the games the same length as a typical normal soccer game?
No, so typical outdoor games at the professional ranks are 90 minutes and they have 2 halves. Here it's quarters. So they have 4 quarters and they're 15 minutes each. So it's an hour of game clock time. Could take, maybe 2.5 hours to get through depending on officiating and things like that. But no, it doesn't feel like the 2.5 hours or, I know to the average sports fan, I understand why they get bored with the outdoor soccer game. I'm taking in all the nuances, even missed shots on goal, saves by the goalkeepers, the little nifty passes that guys make, like all the nuances of that sport that I know everybody gets into with football and basketball, the main ones here in America. That's what makes soccer so exciting to me. What adds to the excitement enables me to watch it so much, whether outdoor or indoor. So we'll get you started. The Crunch is a good way to start getting into whether becoming a fan or not, Jay, at least understanding the game of soccer. Cleveland Crunch
I think
is a perfect
going
place.
to game live helps a lot too.
Absolutely.
Because I grew up a hockey fan and a lot of people don't like to watch hockey for the same reason. It could be 3-1, 1-2, like it could be a real slow paced game, like not a whole lot of scoring. There's a lot of action, just not a lot of scoring. But when you go to the game, it's just different. It's so much different. You see, like you said, all the little nuances, the things that you don't see on the screen. Like when I go to a Browns game and I get that I'm up high, I can see the whole field where you can't see it on TV. It just, I'm looking forward to the live experience of a soccer game, indoor soccer game.
And
dude, the Crunch. Let's just be real. Before we got our championship from Stipe and LeBron, forever like, oh, Cleveland never won anything. We always say, hey man, the Crunch is the best, man. We always had the Crunch to fall back on.
Yeah, they did win professional championships, so it's they were the team to kind of keep the sports prevalent here in Cleveland, or at least championship mentality prevalent here in Cleveland. And
don't forget our monsters.
Oh yes, the Calder Cup by the Monsters.
So
yeah, that's true. That's very true. So the Cavs are always recognized, but there was more before that.
How good they used to be and how good they are now, because I never watched a single game. I know who Hector Marinara is. I know, if I believe he was the all-time leading scorer, wasn't he?
Yes.
I don't know if it's changed since then, but
No, I don't.
I never
believe so.
watched a soccer game. I knew this because that's how good they were. They really are a traditional team for soccer, indoor soccer.
Some people may not even know that when the crunch turned into when new ownership took over in the last 2 years that they were here, 2002 to 2004, they went back to the old name of Arena Soccer of the Cleveland Force. And he was a player, but also an assistant coach. So a player coach aspect there. So don't worry, Jay.
Well, you know why they had to change the Force, right?
Why?
Isn't it the Star Wars copyright stuff, if I'm correct?
Oh yeah, something like that. I mean, there's
They
always going to
used
be.
I think I heard Riz talking about on RBS that they used to have like Star Wars nights there and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, when you're using your name that kind of coincides with something like that, and you don't necessarily have all of the proper things legally in place, people are gonna find out. So it is what it is. But they are the Cleveland Crunch again, and we are so happy to have them back. And don't worry, Jay. Eric and Lucci already said you will be well taken care of. You are a part of the crew as much as anybody else because we are so happy and proud to partner with the Cleveland Crunch.